In 1933, a man named Vernon Rudolph bought a donut shop in Paducah, Kentucky from a French chef from New Orleans. With the shop, he also obtained a secret yeast-raised donut recipe that would become the foundation of the Krispy Kreme doughnuts. It didn't take long before Rudolph and his partner began to look for a larger market for their donuts. They first moved their operations to Nashville, Tennessee, and during this time, other members of the Rudolph family joined the business and opened shops in Charleston, West Virginia and Atlanta, Georgia. At the time, the business focused on selling donuts to local grocery stores. By 1937, Rudolph decided to leave Nashville behind to open his own donut shop. He settled on Winston-Salem, North Carolina, after he learned his favorite cigarettes, Camels, were headquartered there. With only $25 to his name, a few pieces of donut-making equipment, his secret recipe, and the name Krispy Kreme Doughnuts, he rented a building in Old Salem across from a college. At this point, Rudolph had no money left to buy ingredients, so he had to convince a local grocer to lend him the ingredients to be paid back later. On July 13, 1937, the first Krispy Kreme shop opened and began selling donuts to local grocery stores. With the sweet smells of sugar and dough enticing people to ask if they could buy a donut, Rudolph decided to cut a hole in the side of the building so he could sell them directly to the public. During the 1940s, Krispy Kreme had become a small chain of stores. They all used the secret recipe, but each store made the donuts from scratch, resulting in good but not consistent products. So Rudolph built a mix plant and developed a distribution system that delivered the perfect dry donut mix to each Krispy Kreme store. Steps were taken during the 1950s to mechanize the donut-making process. Hand-cut donuts became a thing of the past with the new Krispy Kreme automatic donut cutter. Proofing, frying, glazing, and loading the donuts on screens had become entirely automatic. This process remains the foundation of the donut-making process used by Krispy Kreme today. During the 1960s, Krispy Kreme grew steadily in the Southeast. Stores were redesigned to include the hallmark green tile roof and the large road sign at all locations, making the brand of the company more easily recognized. In 1973, Krispy Kreme's founder, Vernon Rudolph, died, and growth slowed as the company was reorganized. In 1976, the Chicago-based Beatrice Foods Company bought Krispy Kreme. Only 6 years later, in 1982, a group of franchise owners bought Krispy Kreme back and shifted the focus to customer experience. An emphasis on hot donuts was established, and by 1992, the Hot Donuts Now sign was introduced. It's important to know Krispy Kreme donuts taste better at a very specific temperature. After frying, the donuts are bathed in a cascade of glaze that's 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The glaze cools and sets as the donuts make their way to the end of the assembly line, which is when they are perfect for eating. The group also took Krispy Kreme outside of the southeastern United States, opening a store in New York City in 1996 and one in California in 1999, and nationwide expansion was well underway. As new locations opened, people would line up around the block to be one of the first customers through the door. Why? Because Krispy Kreme celebrates grand openings by giving away a lot of donuts. The first 100 guests can register for a chance to win free donuts for the entire year, while the very first person in line gets one free dozen every single week for an entire year. In 2001, Krispy Kreme bought a Chicago-based company called Digital Java. This acquisition helped Krispy Kreme to improve and broaden their coffee line, which was a natural fit when paired with their donut selection. Also that year, Krispy Kreme began using a new proprietary donut technology called the Krispy Kreme Hot Donut Machine, a conveyor oven and glazing system that closely resembles Krispy Kreme's traditional donut production equipment. The hot donut machine was designed to finish cooking and glazing donuts that had been partially prepared. This new machine allowed Krispy Kreme to bring the hot donut experience to more customers, including at locations in malls and airports. Today, Krispy Kreme produces millions of donuts per day and billions per year. Krispy Kreme has also grown its number of locations through the years, with over 350 locations nationwide in 41 states. With over 8 decades of donut business under their belt, it is no surprise that their most famous and best-selling product has always been the Krispy Kreme Original Glazed. If the sight of the hot light in a Krispy Kreme window makes you weak in the knees, you're not alone. That red signal has fans whipping into the parking lot for a freshly made hot donut on a daily basis. If you haven't tried one in a while, maybe it's time to look for one of those brightly lit green and red signs.